Hello, everyone, and welcome to this, our, 74th Asbury V Show, and this is our Ugly Christmas holiday show. I think this is our third Ugly Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah, our third
I think you
Ugly
bought
Christmas.
this for an elf, man.
You look pretty hot in that, man. You got that rash guard. It's like a rash
It's
guard.
gonna be a rash guard, I think, after today. So.
Yeah, I think it is a rash guard, right? Look at that. Yeah, and this is going to be my pajama top for the next 2 weeks. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get started with some awesome questions.
All right, our first question comes from Mike R. He says, a friend of mine and I have been thinking about going into partnership on opening a school. What is your opinion about partnerships?
Wow, jumped right into a big question there. Man, I've been involved in awesome partnerships, and then I've been involved with terrible partnerships that was like a nightmare. My thought is, if you're considering a partner, you got to ask yourself, why do you need a partner to begin with? Most of the time, people get into partnerships for things like camaraderie, or it'd be fun to be partners with this person, or one side needs the partnership and the other side allows the partnership. All three of those situations are not good reasons to be in a partnership. And in any partnership, it's like a marriage, man. That's the most important relationship you're going to have next to the relationship with your wife and kids, because it is like you're married. Mm-hmm. And always in a partnership, if it's not done correctly, one person's going to feel like they're doing more or deserve more or are getting the bad end of some things, and then it's going to go awry. So partnerships are very, very tough. Figure out why you want to go in partners with this person. A good partnership, two people should be, if I'm going to pick a partner, I'm going to pick somebody that can bring something to the table that I can't deliver myself. If I can deliver it myself, or if I can hire it to be done by someone else that's an employee, well, then I don't need that person as a partner. So you got to make sure you understand the good reasons why. And then the next thing is have an amazing partnership agreement between you two, so that everything is spelled out to the detail of even expectations of what one side's responsible for and what the other person's responsible for. I'm not saying not to do a partnership. I'm just saying discover why and make sure it's a good enough reason, because if you can do it on your own, you're probably better off doing it on your own. Okay. Next question.
Next question comes from Alexa P. She says, love you guys in the show. Please keep it up. In a past show, I heard your view on staff and social media and concerns of staff being friends with parents and students. But what if your staff are already friends with our families?
Okay. Alexa, thanks for the comments. We love you guys too. If your instructors or staff are already friends with a bunch of your families and students on social media, and you know my view on that, then I would simply do a couple things. I would tell your staff to delete your friends and your family members from their page. I would make an announcement. I would send an email to all of my students saying that it is against policy from this day on, that it is against policy for staff members to be friends and associate with customers or clients or family members on social media. And explain, that should be enough. It's just that way you, the owner, is taking it's not really blame, but it's you're the one making this decision. And it does, I guess your staff's worrying that by defriending people, they're going to upset somebody. Yeah. So just send an email out educating the parents that this is what's happening. This is policy now. Please don't be upset at your instructors if you see that you're no longer friends of theirs on social media. And what I would do then is, I think we did mention this in a show, is in your new student checklist, when someone first signs up, we go through a checklist of items that are really important that we want the parent or adult student to sign off, that they understand those things, like testing fee or closing times, that certain times we close, or those types of things that better to talk to them and explain now why they're super excited when they're joining than wait to let them find out later and give them a reason to get upset. I would make sure that's a line item on your new student checklist, that please don't friend our staff because they're not able to accept, because it's against policy for staff members to follow or be friends with families on social media. And that should take care of it. Now, if your instructors don't understand why, instructors are like everybody else. They like the attention, right? They like to have lots of friends and followers or whatever. And if they don't understand it, I'm not saying that you have to let them make this decision, because it's not their decision, but you just need to talk to them, and they need to understand that there is no reason for them to be having message conversations with the staff. There's no reason for them to see what you, our staff members, does in your personal time. You got to keep that air of familiarity or unfamiliarity. You don't want to be too familiar with your people. Your instructor should be seen like a principal at a school or a teacher, and probably those parents aren't friends or followers of the principal at school.
Yeah, that's
so that's kind of how you want to look at it. All right, let's jump into our victories. This week's victory is John Lyles from Lubbock, Texas.
Yep.
And we also have to celebrate his wife, Angelique, because she's an amazing person. And those two together run 3 awesome martial arts schools. Now, Mr. Lyles has always been successful. But now he's just taken things to some crazy level. He's got one large school of 600 students. He opened up a school in Dallas, Texas, in a suburb of Dallas, far away from Lubbock. And now he's opened a second location in Lubbock, Texas. So how many students all together? You're talking, I don't even know, near 1,000 people, probably 800, 700. I know one of his schools is brand new, so I don't know what the population of that school is currently. But we saw video of his graduation just yesterday or day before. Yeah. Dude, how many people were on that gymnasium floor? Hundreds of kids were on that floor. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not 1,000 or 2,000 people were in the audience, in the stands. Yeah. It was amazing. It was awesome, and that's what it's all about. So I want to, celebrate John and Angelique Lyles for their success in the martial arts industry. If any of you guys want to check him out, it's John Lyles Premier Martial Arts in Lubbock, Texas, and in Dallas, Texas. So congratulations to the Lyles family. You guys keep up great work. Got some big things happening from them. I can guarantee you he's not satisfied and settled into just 3 locations.
Not done. Our next question comes from Charles B. He says, I'm beginning to inquire with a management company about leasing a space to open a new school. What are some tips in dealing with lease negotiations?
Oh, wow. I should have read that one and thought about that one a little more. Tips in dealing with lease negotiations. Man, there's so many tips. Don't just hand the lease to a lawyer to look at. Read it yourself in detail first. Highlight the things you don't understand and then ask your attorney to explain those. If you just throw a lease at an attorney to review, their job is to mark it up because they're not going to get paid unless they make changes. And sometimes those changes aren't even a good idea. So there's one tip. Actually dealing with a management company, I would say ask for more than you expect to get. We like to ask for a year. If we're doing a 5-year lease, we would like to get 1 year's worth of TI dollars. And TI is tenant improvement dollars, in the form of either them giving us, they do the build out, or they give us cash and we do the build out, or free rent, or a combination of all 3 of those things. So, example, let's say that you take the monthly rent amount times 12. That's not CAM, that's just the rent square foot dollar amount times 12, and that comes up to $28,000, let's say, or $30,000, whatever. You want that 1 year of rent. You would like to try to get that in the form of 1 or all 3 or a combination of build out, cash money to build out and to operate, and free rent. So there's there's an area in there that you're going to get. But if you don't ask for anything, you're not going to get anything. And remember, these people are masters in at lease negotiation. That's what those management companies do all day long. So you've got to be a little aggressive. Also, in negotiating a lease or picking a location, I like to try to find 2 or 3 locations and negotiate all 3 at the same time. I'm not going to take all 3. I'm only going to take 1. But by finding other locations that you would be just as happy with, now you're in a little bit of a power position to ask for things and let them know you're negotiating with other people. We actually have a school in Atlanta that's negotiating a new lease now. And the Kroger Shopping Center wants the martial arts school there because it's going to bring lots of families and traffic to the center. So he already is in a little bit of a power position on getting a good deal on the lease. So, ask for more than you expect. Ask for some free rent, 6 months on a 5-year lease. Ask for some tenant improvement dollars. And then it's going to be a little negotiation back and forth. And I guess real quick, the last tip would be, make sure that the HVAC is handled in the lease. A lot of people overlook that, and you're in a shopping center that you might be 20 or 30 years old. You've moved in. The HVAC is 20 or 30 years old, the unit, and it goes out, and now it's not in the lease, and they say you're responsible. And those things can go $15,000, $20,000, depending on how big it needs to be to heat and cool your space. So that's something you want to find out now. Like, how old is it? And can try to get them to be responsible for the unit other than you being responsible for minor maintenance, which would be Freon and filter changes and a belt here or there or something to that effect. Because those are some quick tips on lease negotiation. Lease negotiation can be very detailed. So if whoever this is, anyway, if you want to reach out to us, and give us a call, I'd be glad to at least talk to you a little bit about that situation for you. Next question.
Sandy T asks, with all of the sexual abuse allegations happening, how can we protect our business?
Wow. Man, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. And you know what? The bottom line is nobody has the right to mistreat someone. Nobody has the right to put their hands on someone. And hopefully these situations we're seeing on the news are never happening inside of a martial arts school. So I think what this owner's probably saying is, I think people are a little bit hypersensitive now. Sure. The average person that watches the news, they want to be, whatever. Certain people see stuff on the news and they feel like subconsciously they want to be part of it somehow. And all of a sudden they find a situation that now they're complaining about or whatever. Man, my thing is this. Education for your staff members. You need to bring in somebody that's an expert in, sexual abuse or abuse in different things that trains staff members for companies. Give some education, and then you yourself put guidelines down. Like, there's a good reason why you don't have your staff members, friends and followers of parents and students. Because it's a quick message back and forth, and all of a sudden somebody's meeting somebody for coffee and they're not supposed to be meeting them, and then something else happens and it goes bad, when that never probably would have happened if they didn't have that easy line of hidden communication.
It doesn't have to be physical. It could all just happen online.
Yeah, you don't even have to do anything. Nowadays you just say something to somebody and you're in trouble, right? So, lay out detailed policies for your staff members of things they can and cannot do. Educate your staff members. And the reason I say really educate, even bring an outside person in to give them a class and train them, is if anything does happen, if it happened in your business, you can be responsible yourself. If you don't have good barriers of corporate barriers, it can come to you personally even. So, but if you have educated and have policies in place, it's less apt to fall back on you because you tried to set up the situation. You tried to protect your staff and your families and your students. It shows you were doing something. Next thing is, if a parent ever comes to you and complains about anything, or an adult student or a mother or whatever, you need to take action, because if you don't take action, then you can be held responsible as well. So you need to take immediate action, like maybe have to lay your staff member off for a while till there's an investigation on what actually, transpired and so forth. So that's a very serious topic. I understand what this person's saying. So educate your staff, put policies in place and make them follow them, and follow through on any incident in detail with action to show that you took action and to keep you from being so responsible in the future.
I think it goes without saying, but everything you said, always document, right?
And document it. We have incident reports and we keep records, and all of that goes a long, long way if something ever happens. And make sure you've got some good insurance, or even supplemental insurance for these weird things that can happen. But it's really about educating your staff members and putting policies in place and holding them to the grindstone. Don't let anybody your staff members take advantage. Don't let them get their honey where you get your money, right? That's the general rule there. And owners themselves, that's great information for them. I mean, look at I don't want to say any names, but I was probably more shocked at Matt Lauer than anybody, because I've been watching this dude for years every morning give me my news. I never would have dreamed it. And he just happened to be getting his honey where his money was at, and it caused him a lot of problems.
Absolutely. Our last question for this week, a little bit lighter subject. Bill S. asks, he says, what would be a book recommendation to read over the holiday?
Oh, good question. I have been given, somebody mailed me a book called The Service Culture Handbook, and I thought that was great. And we talk about service culture all the time with our instructors and how we treat our staff. Me and you are very service industry oriented for our clients and our premier martial arts owners and our consulting clients. We have the view that we work for them. So I think in any business, if you have that service attitude, things usually work out. You usually make the best decisions. So someone sent me this book, so I'm planning on reviewing that and reading that during the week-long break. So you guys can check that out. I'm sure you can find it easy in your bookstore. With that, we have, real quick, simply, if you guys are interested in working with us for your business in 2018, we have a mentoring program, and you can check that out at
leadersedgementoring.com.
Right. We've got a consulting program for $497 a month that gives all the detailed business systems at your fingertips that we operate from, and that's Business Maximizer, and you can see that at mabusinessmaximizer.com. And finally, Studio Pro told me they have about 15 more spaces left for people that, if you are a Studio Pro client, you get our $500 a month consulting program, the Business Maximizer, for free. And the cost of that amazing software is only $199 a month. So you get them and us for $199. Talk about a cheap, life-changing opportunity for your business.
There's been a lot of people that use that as a stepping stone to get to the Leader's Edge. So the Leader's Edge at $1,000 a month, might be a little much for them at that point, but the Business Maximizer helped them gain some ground and some revenue and then transition. So it's been a great program.
So look, this is our last show of 2017. We wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. Do something fun. Close that school between Christmas and New Year's. Spend time with your friends and family, people that deserve and want your attention. Get some rest. That way you come back for the new year motivated and excited to make 2018 your best year yet. Merry Christmas, everybody.